Alright, on to the next machine. Here we are. So on this one, they were actually cleaning the machine when I got here, so we're in great shape. They already cleaned everything for me, and then in addition to that, they left this off so I can kind of show how this is going to work. So here's what we have going on. We got goopy nightmares happening, which means we are getting powder, we're getting water, but we're not getting spin. So, see if I can find a way to show that. Alright, I threw a whipper on this quick so you can kind of see how it's going to work. I'm going to throw you guys in tripod mode quick because I'm going to be honest with you, this is a two-hander kind of thing. So we're going to take him, and now we can watch that whipper, and I'm going to push the correct button, and you can see I'm getting water. You can hear I'm getting motor in the back for product, but you can see my whipper is not a whipping. So that's going to be a giant mess. The water looks like we're getting enough, so we'll probably also do a quick check on that too. It's tempting to just go right after this. There's 3 different machines, and we talked about that earlier on. On this particular analog unit, we can actually go in through the front and swap out this motor. But on the digital units, you would actually have to go either up and through the top, or you would have to go from the side. So in this case, I'm actually going to probably take off this front, and then we can see those control boards that are down here. And the interesting thing about the 5-head machine versus the 3-head machine is this machine is going to have 2 control boards. So that's something to keep in mind when you're having a problem, is one of these 2 boards controls the whole machine, and then actually we'll actually show it. So like if you look, there's little black lines here. So this is one control board, and this is the other control board. So we'll get this front panel off, and then we'll get after that. Typically, there'd be 2 arms sitting here to hold our actual drip tray, keep it from flopping around. This store has opted to no longer have those, which, you know, that's up to them. We're not going to chase it down for them if they didn't want it. That's perfectly okay. Alright, we're in the machine. There's our 2 separate control boards. One's for the left and one is for the right. And then you can see one of these is actually going to be in control of a little bit more. So we have our pink wire right here, which is our detector for full. So that's our tank fill probe. So this is going to be the side if you're having issues with the machine filling, you would look at this side. If you're having issues with product on either side, you would look at these. If both of them disappear, you might have a water leak and you have a problem with both of them. Now the machine is unplugged, we're not going to do this live, that'd be silly, but you can see there is just enough space to sneak a whipper motor. So if you keep your 9-in-1 on you, that's where this tool is super nice to have. So your 9-in-1 covers all of these things. And as we're working on this, we're also keeping food sanitation in consideration. So we're going to be sanitizing everything as we put it back together if it's going to be a food surface. And you can see we are popped out and should pop right through. And there's our motor. And so the only issue we have now is trying to get the wires out and make sure that we can see which wires they're supposed to go to. So that'll be the next thing I work on. One fishing expedition later, we have found our 2 friends. You can see that the collar for the tank heater fell off. That would only matter in like a non-24-hour store where they would want to shut the power off to this particular unit. So we don't necessarily have to chase that down and re-secure it. Just want to make sure it's not going to touch anything. And then get these cables out. And our two that we're looking for are right here. So there's a bit of a wire mess in there, and I did jiggle around a couple things. So when we're done with this, we really do want to make sure that we verify that everything is going to be functional and working. All right, motor hooked up, wired up, ready to go. We're going to slide him in and get him lined up. Make sure you don't pinch any wires in front of it when you put it back together. That would be bad. And these are pretty beat up. I'm pretty tired. So we've got fresh ones on the truck. We're going to throw some fresh ones on here for the store. Actually, this one's in good repair. I believe this is the right part number, 593079. Time to snug it up. Gotta wash these, get some gloves on, and get this reassembled. Alright, back after it, get some parts back on this thing, get it working. I have no idea what that disc does, but it's important. You can see that that was not particularly good, so this one's actually wore out. We should throw this one away. I'm going to find a different one. New upgraded one. So something I'm going to show you on these two. There's a couple easy ways to handle this. You can see I had to really force that on. Alright, so my boss taught me this a while ago. This is a tool. You can use it to both tighten, and if you come on the other side, you can use it to loosen. Much easier to handle instead of dealing with your hands. So we're going to put him on. He's going to partially click. You want to make sure it's clicked all the way. And the reason you want to do that, when you look at it, see how we're not completely centered, and we're going to grind out the side of that base. It's important that this is completely centered when we put it together. So we've got all of our parts, they're nice and clean. He fits on. We're going to take our chamber, and you can see we have that chamber now clicked on. Alright, all wrapped up. One last thing, we're going to see if we can find some sort of ABS plastic to go in there. I'm not going to get it done today. But there should be some sort of black plastic we can fill in that gap with so it doesn't look as janky. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm taking a step back. Our two machines are not level, which drives me a little bit crazy. So we're going to level both of them so they're at the same level and that they don't rock, which this one does a little bit. So that'll take a little bit of time. I'm not going to show it on camera because you've got better things to do than watch me mess around with legs. But the one thing that these are all adjustable legs. Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, so right's going to go down, left brings it up, and then if you're ever dealing with coffee equipment, not necessarily cappuccino machines don't matter if it's front or back. What matters is actually on these units, we want them pitched just slightly forward, not like extremely forward, but you want them forward a little bit just so that your pot's not leaning back and all your coffee is laying to the back of the pot. Little things like that make a difference. Ooh, one thing we did forget, we need to make sure that the calibration on this is correct as well. But I'm thinking it's probably fine.